Are your leftover fabrics also piling up? Well, in this video, I'm using those to make some awesome pants. This is my first time making some long-legged pants, because I don't think wrap pants should count. And for these, I've cut out about 120 fabric squares. Hello everyone! I recently took some time off to rediscover the joy in my hobbies. And one of those hobbies is sewing. So I gathered all my scraps, I organized them into fabrics that would go together, and I cut them up into squares and sewed multiple items out of those squares, and I had the time of my life. So this is one of those. Look at it. All like garbage. It's all scraps. Thrifted, old bed sheets, t-shirts and blouses, and now they all came together. Looks very cute, always snatches the waist. Anyways, I thought it would be awesome to make a real cool pair of pants like this. And I want them to be big and baggy, comfortable, very loose, and I want to dye it purple. So beforehand, I've made this entire pile of squares. Most of these squares are either black and white, purple, or a color adjacent to purple. For example, this fabric was basically garbage that was handed to me. I love when that happens. And it's like a minty color, which could be easily colored to purple. I got black and white. This one's fun. This is cut from an old pillow from IKEA. And now I'm gonna have little kitties in my pants! This is old curtain. I have still way too much of this fabric. Curtains are a lot. I have this very flexible velvety purple, and I have another velvety purple, but this one is not flexible at all. And this whole pile is 120 squares, more or less, which according to my calculations should be about enough, but we'll see. I don't remember how I calculated it, because why would I write it down, right? That'd be way too convenient. I also cut these long strands for the cord coming in the top. My next step is gonna be thinking of how I'm gonna sew the squares together so that all my pant pieces can be conveniently shaped. And as you might be able to see on my cardigan already, is that I use a serger for this. And I love my serger. However, it's so loud, and I'm filming this at 5 p.m. Now, officially, I can make noise, but it still feels kind of douchebaggy to disturb anyone's cozy Friday evening with my because that's how it goes. I'm gonna pick this all back up tomorrow, and then we'll make some noise. Yes, now I can start. I also did some measurement and calculations beforehand, and I put them all down in this little sketch. These are the leg parts. This is the waistband, and these are going to be the pockets. The numbers are the amount of squares for each, and my squares are all about 15 by 15 centimeters. And as clear as that is about how clear this video would be if I would call it a tutorial. And now it's finally time to make some noise. I'm starting off with the biggest pieces, and those are 8 by 3 squares. First off, I put 8 squares through my serger so that they're all connected by one little string. It kind of looks like I'm sewing birthday party flags. This might look a little weird because they're not really attached to each other, but I do this for the purpose of having an overview. So on the loose side of the squares, I am starting the next row of 8 squares, attaching those with my serger, and then to that row, I'm attaching the third row of 8 squares. And you're not hearing anything of it right now. Neither was I, because I was peacefully listening to a podcast with my noise cancelling headphones, but this is what it sounds like. Yeah, and this process takes a while. So that's why I didn't want to do this on an evening, hours on end probably. When I finish my 3 rows, it's time to attach them in the other direction this time. And now it's all coming together finally into one big piece of fabric. So now I just have to do this again and again and one more time. And I know, it looks messy, it's not sewn straight, but these pants pants are gonna look chaotic anyways. It's my chaotic pants, and I think that justifies me sewing chaotically. Next, I just gotta make a long strip of 8 squares. This is gonna be the waistband of the pants. Then I just have to attach 2 squares to each other, and I do that 4 times, and these are gonna be the pockets. I also cut these long strips, and I wanted these to be the cord that's gonna be in the pants. I made 2 so I could maybe double the cord or attach them to each other. Anyways, this is how I make it. First, I serge a little on the top, then I hit the gas for a bit and make a long string, just as long as the strip of fabric. Then, when I fold the fabric, I put this string inside the fold. Then I just serge the whole thing, starting at the top again. And putting it right side out is gonna be a breeze because now I just have to pull on the string. And oh, nope. Okay, it's not easy peasy lemon squeezy when the string breaks. I thought I was so smart. I managed it away from the camera with a safety pin and a lot of patience. And I also realized what I did wrong. When I started serging the strip, I went over the string, which of course cut it. So yes, of course it would break on me because it was barely attached. This time, I avoid cutting the string at the top. And look, easy peasy. Yeah. Now before I start cutting all my pant parts to shape, I'm gonna iron it all flat. This will make sure that I'll be able to see the shapes later. So I grabbed these pants that fit me perfectly because I took them in on my own measurements, and I'm gonna trace my pattern pieces based on these. The most important thing is that I get the crotch area right. This is also the most confusing part. I hope I'm tracing it right. So I'm tracing a front piece of the pant leg and a back piece of the pant leg. And now I have grabbed another pair of pants because I really like the pockets on these and I'm gonna copy it. So I am trying to mimic the shape. I'm cutting this out. Then I grab 2 of my pocket pieces and also cut this shape out of those. I put them on the other 2 pocket pieces and just snip off the corner so that my pockets are going to be rounded out and more comfortable. With all the pockets cut, I'm putting down a whole panel and then putting my other panel that I've drawn on top. Right sides facing each other to make sure that they're going to be mirrored, and I'm cutting out my shapes. I'm leaving a lot of sewing allowance because I'm scared, okay? I'm afraid I didn't trace it right. Doing this again for the back sides, and I'm also cutting all the edges a little straighter. I'm gonna do an attempt to explain how I sewed the pockets. So you have that pocket part where you cut out that shape that you also cut out on the pant part. Put those 2 together with the right sides facing each other, and then I sew this curve. So the right side of this pocket part is gonna be the inside of your pocket. On the line I just sewed, it's gonna be folded inwards later. Then you grab the other pocket part with the other shape. You put the pocket parts on top of each other with the right sides facing each other again. And now you only serge the one long line that goes in a curve. And the curve is that part where you snipped the little corner off. Okay, so now we have to figure out how to put the fabrics and how to fold them. You need a little, I don't know, origami, little magic, I guess. You'll figure it out, I believe in you. And now you basically have a pocket because all the loose bits of the pocket are gonna be sewn into the seams of the pants. And to make the curve on the front a little more crisp, I go over it with my iron, and that's basically it. Guys, I was gonna come on camera and say like, oh, by the way, this is my first time actually fully making a pair of pants from scratch. I mean, I've made wrap pants before, but that's pants the easy way, you know? And then I just started trying on the pieces here. Look, this is a pocket. It's gonna be a front piece like that. And then I have a back piece right here. And this is the side seam. Go here. Right, I was putting it together and I realized something. This is right in the middle and this here ends right in the middle, which means that it fits perfectly, which is a bad thing because I was gonna make a non-stretchy pair of pants with a drawstring in it, which means it needs to be wide enough to fit over my butt. But if it sits perfectly at my waist, that's not gonna happen. So where did I go wrong? I'm afraid it's a little obvious. I traced the pattern from a pair of pants with a zipper. You know what? I'll fix it later. It's not a problem yet. So this is both gonna be the right pant leg. This will be the seam on the side. It's gonna go here. And this here is gonna be the seam on the side. So putting those right sides together. I might want to pin at the pocket so that doesn't slip like that. Right, so this is how the pocket is on there. I'm gonna sew this whole bit down and then I'll also sew the other side. So that's gonna be the crotch from here and then down, and this is gonna fit, I think. Wow, good job me, I guess. Let's go. I just looked at the clock. It's midnight. Dang it. All right. Now I'm finishing these pants. I make sure to pin the pockets secure so that they don't shift when I sew the side seam. Then I sew the outer side seam. Let's see how the pocket looks. It looks great. It did not move at all. So now I'm sewing the inner seam. Let's see if this fits right, and it looks good. So now let's do this to the other pant leg, and it's crooked. Okay, let's go over that again, and that looks better, I guess. Let's see what it looks like with both of them on my legs. Oh wow, it's finally starting to look like pants! This means I can sew them together into one. For that, I pull the right side out on one of the pant legs and then I shove it into the other one. They should match at the top, and this way the right sides are facing each other. Now I can sew the crotch, which is the U shape, after I pin it first. Not that it mattered much because it was very messily serged together. Try that again. And you know what? This is good enough. So now we can finally answer the big question. Does it fit over my butt? It's time for the big reveal. And it does! It fits! Good thing I took so much seam allowance, and I've never been more grateful for my flat assets. So now I can start on the waistband. I've made this long strip of fabric for it, but it's a little too long, so I'm cutting off one square. I'm sewing this into a circle, and I'm gonna mark the spots where there are gonna be holes for the drawstring in it. And on these spots, I'm gonna sew some buttonholes. I cut these open off camera and I iron down the fold. Now that I'm ironing, I might as well just iron my pants. Looks nice. Now I'm sewing a line on the top of my waistband, about a centimeter from the fold. I do this so that the drawstring doesn't sit on the very top of the waistband. I think this will look a lot nicer. Now I'm pinning the waistband to the pants, and make sure to not do it like this because this is the wrong way around. If I hadn't seen this on time, I would have had the drawstrings on my back end. I again make sure that the pockets are secure with pins, and when this all is pinned correctly, I can sew it together. Quick inspection if I did it right, and it looks good. With the help of a safety pin, I insert my drawstring into the pants. I try the pants on, everything looks right. Now I just need to even them out on the bottom, serging the edge, and then I'm folding that inwards and sewing this edge secure. And then it was a few days later. I finished the pants. Well, I finished sewing the pants. Let me just put it on for you. Okay, here are the pants. All the way around. It's cool. It looks cool. But I feel like I'm not done with it. I really want to dye it. I want to dye it purple. Big surprise, I know. Thing is, it doesn't really fully fit my color scheme. I don't wear a lot of white. I don't have much with these mint colors. And I also think that if I would make the whole thing a shade of purple, that all the fabrics would be a little more coherent. Although every single piece of fabric would take the dye a different way because they're all different, which also makes it a really cool experiment. This would take the dye really well. This will take the dye really well. This one's not gonna take anything, just like the black, but I have no idea how this is gonna take the dye. And I'm very curious right now. So I'm just gonna do some tests and then honestly, whatever the outcome is, I'll throw in the whole thing eventually, probably. So I got salt and my purple dye right there. Let's add some hot water. This looks like a good color, so here are my test subjects. Ooh. These are the samples. And here is the pants. I like it. This is giving me Bibble vibes. Or Sully from Monsters Inc. I like this better, even though it looks a little messy. The cats did not disappear. And this is now slightly brighter colored. Look at that. I love that. It looks so good. So yeah, I'm gonna chuck it in the dye. Come here. First taking out the drawstring so that this also dyes fully. And now I'm making everything wet beforehand. There we go. Why is it not absorbing the dye? What is going on? Oh wait, it is. It's just going a little slower. Am I having an allergic reaction to the dye? Or was the water just too hot? What if I end up being allergic to purple? My life is over. What if I can't wear the pants because of an allergic reaction to the dye? I'm gonna choose to live in denial. With a glove this time. Let's see. Okay, I like the color. Nice. I'm gonna let it soak for a little longer though. So I took it out of the tub. I rinsed it with water. I ironed the whole thing. And now it's drying. It's still a little wet, so this is not going to be the final color. It's going to be a bit lighter than this, but I already think it looks cool. And finally, the pants are finished. What's wrong? There's something on my face. Anyways, they turn out so cool and I'm so glad that I dyed them. I'll show you now. Ta-da! Look how cool. They're so big. I could fly away like that. The only way to really appreciate the pants is to stand very wide-legged. Ta-da! Let me do a little spin so you can see all the sides. I love it. Oh, the colors look great. It looks so much better than the way it was before. And they also match my shoes. They kind of remind me of those big trip pants. Makes me want to try jump style. I might fall and die, actually, never mind. I am wearing some fleeced tights under this because it's still winter. I can wear this in both winter and summer. Just imagine these pants in summer with a tiny little crop top that would eat. The only thing I wish I would have done differently is I would have made the pants a square longer. They reach to here, and don't get me wrong, they are functional. Stuff does fit in there. It's just not very secure because the opening is so big. So if you're making this, I'd suggest making the pockets deeper. And also maybe adding some back pockets as well. But I can live without. It looks so cool. I love it. Yeah. They're also really, really comfy, and I really think I'm gonna wear them a lot. I also haven't gotten any allergic reactions yet, and I hope it stays that way. And I can't wait to see all the different outfits I'm gonna make with it. I think they turned out fantastic, and I had a lot of fun making it. And if you had fun watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!